welcome to another practice with me, Anne. Today we're going to do a gentle yoga practice. Whether you've been practicing yoga for 5 minutes, 5 years, not at all, longer than that, you can benefit from this practice. As we go through poses, I may tell you a pose you could do that I'm not actually going to teach. Like today I won't teach downward facing dog, but I'll teach puppy pose. If downward facing dog is in your practice and you know how to practice it, you're welcome to go to that point. If you prefer to not do that, try puppy pose, you're welcome to do that. You honor your body today. So even if I ask you to do a pose and it's not appropriate for you, you don't do it, you modify, you adjust. I typically give adjustments and modifications. So just really listen and honor your body today. Reminder that today is different than any other day in normal life and now in what is our normal life for now. So just be kind to yourself always. A reminder that these classes will always be free. My YouTube classes are always free. If you'd like to make a donation to me, you're welcome to. There'll be information below. You can find more information on my website, gofitgirl.com. Click classes and you'll find information there. Money donated to me, I donate part of the money to a local charity. So it's a win-win. A reminder about props. So today, props that you'll need are a yoga blanket and 2 blocks if you have them. If you only have 1 block, totally fine. If you don't have any yoga props, books can work for blocks, and a bath towel, a beach towel can work for a yoga blanket. So for sure have something that can work as a yoga blanket. If you don't have anything to work for blocks, we can modify for that, no problem. I'm gonna move back and we will get started. We're gonna start in constructive rest. So having something under your head is nice. So grab your blanket or towel. I'll refer to it as a blanket even if you're using a towel today. I'm going to put my other block down here so they're just ready later. So you can, if you do have yoga blocks, put them at the end of your mat where your feet are. Make sure that your blanket is folded neatly and come to lie down on your mat in constructive rest. So making sure that your head, if you are using a blanket, is supported by the blanket. Your feet are about hip distance apart, so feel around for the bony protrusions and have your feet in front of your hips, in front of your knees. If that's not comfortable, you can step your feet wider and bring your knees in to rest onto each other. I like to do that for the beginning of practice. You might have to adjust your shoulders, your hips, your feet, your hands, your arms, your head, your neck. So if this isn't comfortable, find something that is. That could be your legs out long, traditional constructive rest. Won't be here for very long. Your next inhale, take it fuller and deeper to your capacity. And when you exhale, let out a sigh. Do that again. Inhale deep. Exhale, release. One more time. Come to stillness as much as you can. Notice if you need to make an adjustment, scratch an itch, or you're just fidgeting. You might not even realize you're fidgeting. I don't realize how much I fidget until I watch my own yoga videos and notice toes and fingers moving around. That's when my face starts to get really itchy. And we've been in the practice of trying not to touch our face. So think about that. Is it something that you really need to address? If it is, please do. And if it's not, see what happens if you let it be. Allow your breath to be natural, your natural cycle of breath in this moment. You might have noticed it's already slowed down. Perhaps it's gotten deeper, longer, fuller. And if it hasn't, that's okay. Every time a thought comes in your mind about something that's already happened, something you anticipate to happen, let it go. As you inhale, you may notice that thought. And as you exhale, release it. Thank it for being there and let it go. Even if you have to do that 1,000 times during our practice together. Feel the pattern of your breath as you inhale in and exhale out. Next inhale, your body receives. Make it fuller, longer, deeper to your capacity, so don't overdo it. And exhale it out. Start to move your fingers and toes. This is when movement is good. Your hands, your feet, your wrists, your ankles. You could hug your knees in, rock side to side. You could stretch, move your head side to side. It would feel good here. Eventually come back to constructive rest. Arms where you are comfortable. Step your feet as wide as your mat. Here with your knees upright, think about a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, move your knees over to one side. Inhale, bring your knees back up. Exhale, move your knees to the other side. So you're going to move to your own breath. You're going to move your knees to the best spot for you. So maybe only move them an inch or two. Notice what's happening in your low back, in your belly, your side body. Notice if the movement is just happening. Maybe you're flapping your knees to each side, not linking with your breath. That's okay, just notice that. And then come back to that shared movement. So let your breath dictate your movement, not the other way around. Finish the round you're in and do one more. Once you're complete, come back to constructive rest. No hurry or rush, so if you're still going, go. So I mentioned about itchy face, and then all of a sudden my face is so itchy right now. I did just wash my hands. Hug your right knee into your chest and just hold it here for a moment. Maybe you want to move around a little bit. Maybe you want to just stay still. Even holding still, there's movement. You can feel your breath. Slight adjustments, even if you weren't making them. And then bring your hands to the back of your thigh and extend your leg up the best you can. It doesn't have to be straight. For most of us, without help, we're going to have a bend in our knee. And then start to circle your ankle in one direction, about 4 times. And then go the other direction 4 times. And then think about pressing through your heels. So if this bothers you, like sciatic or something else, then press more through the ball of your foot, but have your foot active. And then be a ballerina and point through your toes. And then flex or press through the ball of your foot again. Point your toes. Do that 2 more times. And then let the foot relax and do a little bit of windshield wipering side to side. Hug your knee back in. Set your foot down. Hug your other knee in. Stay here for a moment. And then decide, do you want to make a little movement? Do you want to stay still? This side might need something way different from the first side. So really honor that. Pay attention. That's part of honoring your body. And just notice what's happening right now. Bring your hands to the back of your thigh. Extend your leg up long as you can. And then start to circle in one direction. Maybe you hear some snap, crackle, pop 4 times, and then the other direction. And then you're going to flex or press the ball of your foot and point. Flex and point. 2 more. And then once that's complete, have your foot relaxed, then just move a little bit side to side, so like your windshield wipering. Hug your knee back into your chest for a moment. Set your foot down. Just take a moment here. Take your right foot up, cross your right ankle over your left knee into what's called a figure 4. So you may feel really tight here. You want your foot to be active, and then you can take your right hand and press your right hand into your thigh. Don't press into your knee, press into your thigh. You don't have to, this helps to make the stretch a little bit deeper. If it's too much, then you back off. You're going to keep your ankle where it is, but remove your hands. So hands out to the side, on your belly, on your chest, wherever you're comfortable. We're going to come into a little bit of a twist here. So you're going to think about bringing your right foot toward the left. It might not touch the floor or the mat, and that's okay. You could be up in the air. Perhaps it comes down. If your block's available, mine is not, you could place it under your foot. But if it's up off of the mat, that's okay too. And then thinking about this thigh moving away, whether you want to help it, or you just want to energetically move it away, or not. Remember, you can always come out of something sooner than I ask you to. Next time you inhale, bring your leg back up. Keep your ankle crossed over your knee. We're going to go the other way, so it's like you're going to bring your knee down toward the mat. And you could, again, just go an inch or two, or come all the way down. Not forcing your opposite shoulder down onto the floor of the mat. If it hurts to be up, then you back off out of the twist. A little bit of a side stretch here, opposite side of your body. When you inhale, come back up. Fully exhale. Release your foot back to the mat. Adjust your hips, your shoulders, whatever you might need to. And then opposite, ankle over knee. Taking a moment here. Flex or press through the ball of your foot. Keep your foot active. That helps to keep your knees safe. And then if you'd like, it's accessible, you can press your hand into your thigh. If that's too much, back off. So when I teach, I mirror. So my first side that we did, that was my tighter side, which was really my left side. I won't talk much more about that, so I don't want to confuse anybody. So notice one side versus the other. Doesn't matter, you don't need to judge it, you just notice it. Release your thigh. You're going to start to move your foot down toward the mat. So like you're trying to step your foot onto the floor of the mat, even if it doesn't go. And then decide if you just kind of want to let your knee be as it is. Press a little bit into your thigh to move away. Energetically press your foot into the mat to move away. You get to decide. Come out sooner than I ask you to, if you need to. Next time you inhale, come back up. Fully exhale. And let's bring that knee to the other side. So you're bringing your knee down toward the mat or the floor. Checking in that you're not forcing your arm, your knee, your shoulder down onto the mat. That your breath is still flowing. It's our greatest tool. So if it's choppy or you're holding it, notice that. That's telling you to change something, to back off, to be kinder, to listen to your body. Just because you could do it yesterday doesn't mean you need or have to do it today, or that your body is ready for it today. Next inhale, come back up. Exhale, step your foot down on the mat. Hug your knees into your chest. If it feels good, you can rock a little side to side. So eventually, we're going to come into a tabletop. If a tabletop is not okay being on your knees, I am going to encourage padding for your knees. But if it's not okay, then you stay here in this position. You can do a lot of the movements on your back. You're going to come onto your knees, bring your feet back to your mat, and roll over to one side in the fetal position for a breath or two. And then you're going to press your hands into the mat and bring yourself up. If you want padding for your knees, get your blanket, put it in the middle of your mat, and come on to all fours, into tabletop. So if you're staying on your back, just keep your knees hugged into your chest. Spread your fingers wide. Have your knees under your hips and start with your wrist below your shoulders. That might be too much. You can always step your hands forward or out to the side. So check in. Sometimes that 90-degree angle is way too much. So here we're going to do some cat-cow. So if you're on your back, I'll show it. You're just going to move your knees forward and back. So you can see here, this is more that I'm in the cat, and then I'm arching my back a little bit as I move my knees away more into the cow. So you're welcome to do that. If you know cat-cow, you're welcome to begin. Make sure your fingers, your hands are fully active here. You're going to move to your breath. So whatever variation you're doing as you exhale, round into that cat pose. And as you inhale, opening up, lifting your chest, slightly lift in the head and your neck. And as you exhale, so move to your own breath, you round, starting with your pelvis. The pelvis starts the movement both ways. So head and neck, don't just jam them up. Let them follow. And you don't have to move your head and neck very much. Think about opening your heart and your cow. Do one more round. And from here, we're going to transition into puppy pose. So if you want to come into puppy pose, you would still be on your knees. So think about that if you're on your back right now. You could stay right where you are. You could come back to constructive rest. If you know downward facing dog and it's in your practice, you can set up for downward facing dog. So puppy pose is a variation between child's pose and downward facing dog. So step your hands a little forward and then shift your hips back. That feels okay, then you go a little more forward and you shift back. You get to decide. It's a heart opener, it's a back bend. So for some of us, we can't go very far. See if you can relax your head. Basically like downward facing dog with your ears between your upper arms. Check in. If it's too much, back off. So if you're in downward facing dog, bring your knees back to your mat. Come back to tabletop. Come into a little bit of a twist called thread the needle. So on your next inhale, lift your left arm up, reaching up, and on your exhale, reach your hand and arm toward the other side. So you're going to rest the side of your head and neck, your head and shoulder down on the mat. I'm going to do the other side so you can see better, but you can stay where you are unless you need to see me better. So if your head cannot easily reach the mat, this is where you could use your block or your blanket. I like to keep my opposite hand tented, but some people like to extend out long. Some want to bring hand to hip. Some people want to reach their arm up. So you decide. If this is too much, come out. Next time you inhale, start to reach that hand and arm back up. And exhale, bring your hand down. Do whatever your opposite side is. So you're going to twist to the other side. So I'm going to do away from you where we started. Inhale up, exhale, reach through your fingertips, bringing the side of your head and shoulder down to the mat. Adjust your arms, support your head if it needs it. I forgot to say this on the first side. If you feel like there's a lot of weight in your head and neck, you shouldn't move your hand. Keep your hand in front of your face or your fingers tented in front of your face. That'll help to lift you up a little bit. If it's too much, come out. You can adjust your arm if you want. And also bring it behind your back in what I call speed skater pose. Next inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bring your hand back down to the mat. If you need a break, you can come back into a child's pose. So that's where you widen your knees as much as you'd like, big toes touch, or come close together. You sit back on your heels, you drape your torso over your thighs, and you bring your forehead down to the mat. If it doesn't reach, use your block, your books, your blanket. You can stack your palms, your fists. come back up into the tabletop. Step 1 foot forward to come into a low lunge. This is where it's nice if you have blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can bring your hand to your thigh. As you come into your lunge, check in that your front knee is not forward of your ankle. So this is not a healthy lunge. You're going to hurt your knee. So your knee can be behind your ankle, but not forward of it. So find that. Back toes can be curled under or not. So you want to like create a lift here. So if you don't have something and you're like, oh, like this, you don't want to be like that. So you can bring your hands to your thigh. That's totally fine and appropriate. You could stay right here. If you decide to curl your toes under, you're welcome to. If it's okay, you can feel this reach and lift from your belly. You could reach your arms up into a crescent low lunge. Bring your hands back down to your mat or your blocks. Step your foot back and step the other foot forward. If it doesn't quite get there, you can grab your ankle. You can crawl your toes forward. Make sure that your knee is right over your ankle. Your toes are forward. So you're imagining that you're aiming your knee between your second and third toe. And create that lift. So that might mean that the blocks need to be higher. Your hands need to be on your thigh. You want your chest to be open, your spine long. So if you're having a hard time reaching and you're like this, here on my voice kind of closes up, you want to be more open. Create that lift once again. So you don't want to be like sinking. You want to have a lift. So you're pressing through your feet as you create the lift to come into your variation of crescent. Your hands can be on your shoulders, on your hips, cactus arms, or reaching up toward the ceiling. I find that curling my back toes under helps me with my balance. A little bit. Bring your hands back down. Step your foot and knee back. Move your blocks to the side if they're there. Do a little bit of wiggling of your hips. You're going to come down onto your belly. So bring yourself slowly down. Stack your palms and rest your chin, your cheek, or your forehead. Normally I would rest my forehead, but I'm resting my chin so that you can still hear me. We're going to set up for a locust pose. If doing this back bend is not okay for you, at any time come back to crocodile. This is crocodile. This is a baby back bend. Totally appropriate. Also a good alternative for child's pose. So if you want to try Shalabhasana Locust, you're going to bring your arms down by your sides, have your hands by your hips, your palms facing toward your midline, so facing towards your body. Your chin or your forehead on the mat. I don't have that so that you can hear me. So just imagine, we're going to do this in steps. There's 3 parts to this. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. So you could do all of them or part of them. So just honor your body. You want to press your tops of your feet into your mat. So don't curl your toes under and your knees. Imagine you could lift your belly button up toward your spine and then move your shoulders up toward your ears about an inch and then up toward the ceiling. So you're active here. And then lift your legs an inch or 2 off the mat. Breathe. Sometimes with back bends, we forget to breathe. Bring your feet back down to your mat. All right, now we're going to add to it. If that's enough, stay there. Excuse me. I still have a little bit of this cough. 3 months. All right, let's lift up again. So imagine pressing through your feet, lifting from your belly. Your shoulders are active. Lift your legs. Lift your arms. So imagine reaching your triceps up toward the ceiling. Notice your breath. And then come down on an exhale. You can do those 2 parts. 1, you could just do the arms. We're going to introduce all 3. So start with that foundation with your feet, your knees, the lift of your belly, your active shoulders. Lift your legs. Reach your triceps. Reach your fingertips towards your feet. And then if you'd like to peel your chest up off of the mat. So don't jut your chin forward. Keep your neck long, your gaze down in front of you, likely on your mat. On your exhale, come on down, come back to that crocodile. You can wiggle out your hips, Bend your knees and do some windshield wipering. If you'd like to come back into a child's pose, you can, or you can stay right here in crocodile. I think I'm going to stay here. And start to make your way back into a tabletop. And come up to standing the best way for you. So that might be stepping one foot forward and then the other. Bring your hands to your hips. Slowly rise up. Coming into Tadasana, your mountain pose. So starting with your feet about hip distance apart, finding those bony protrusions. You could draw a line down your leg. The line would go right through the middle of your ankle. And that's hip distance apart. And then you want to think about your hips above your shoulders above your hips, your head and neck float evenly above your shoulders, and your arms come down by your sides. Now let's inhale, reaching through the fingertips. On your exhale, reach back down. Inhale, tall. Exhale, start to reach your hands and arms behind you, coming into a baby back bend here. So I'm going to turn to the side. So you want to have a reach from your belly. So this is not a back bend. So reach from your belly, opening and widening of your chest. So most of us will not open up very much. And the neck should follow the spine. So this is not following the spine, and listen to my voice change. This is where we should be for most of us. And then come back upright, give a little wiggle, shake. I'm going to step back just so you can see me a little bit better. You stay on your mat. In Tadasana once again. You're going to inhale, arms up. On the exhale, bring your right arm down, your left arm up and over. If this is not okay, your hand can come to your shoulder, to your hip. You could even reach it down. So find the best spot for you. Inhale, back up. Exhale, other side. And this is the one where I have to adjust my arm because of a shoulder issue. So you want to reach through your side bud. Keep your feet planted. Inhale, back up. Exhale, reaching your arms back down. I'm going to come back. We're going to balance on one leg. So coming back to that Tadasana, pressing through all four corners, create the lift in the belly. Your chest is open. And lock your gaze with something, not me or the computer or anything moving. So if you have a pet around, something that's not moving, and leaning your weight a little bit over to your right foot and leg and bend your left knee. This could be your balance day. You could be on your big toe, or you pick your foot up. Wiggle, wobble, that's all good. If you're like, this is so easy, close your eyes. Arms can be wherever you want them to be. They could be out to the side, cactus, at your hips, whatever's going to support you. And then release and give it a shake. Coming back to your balance. Or excuse me, to your Tadasana before we balance on the second side. So really rooting, just leaning over a little bit. So not like shifting the hips, just leaning the weight ever so slightly, bending your right knee, coming onto the ball of your foot and then possibly the big toe, and maybe lifting. If you need more of a challenge, I do not. Close your eyes. Keep that reach, that lift as you balance. Notice if you're holding your breath. Keep your breath flowing. Release. Give it a shake. We're going to come back down onto the mat. I recommend having your blanket for your head. Just do a little movement here and then coming into Shavasana, our final relaxation pose. So coming back to constructive rest. So give yourself a moment to adjust, to feel comfortable. And then hug your knees into your chest, rocking side to side. We're going to come into a reclined twist. For some of you, it's going to be fine to move over to one side. For some of you, it's going to be more appropriate to bring your feet down to the mat and then move your knees over to your side. So if you're not sure, try it that way first. If it feels okay, you could move your knees up or hug your knees in and come back. No need to push it. It's a perfectly acceptable, lovely twist. Next time you inhale, come back up. Fully exhale, adjust your feet, hips, shoulders. Decide if you're going to hug your knees back into your chest, or you're going to keep your feet on your mat and then exhale to your second side. Placing your hands and your arms wherever's comfortable for you. Bringing your knees back up, feet on your mat. Adjust your hips, your shoulders, anything else. Hug your knees into your chest again one last time to rock side to side or stay still. Or maybe you want to move your knees forward and back, a little bit of cat-cow on your back. As you're ready, bring your feet down to your mat. If you want to come into full regular Shavasana, extend your legs out long. We won't hold this Shavasana for very long. If you'd like to hold it longer, 5, 10, 15 minutes, I highly recommend that. You can set up, pause, run the timer on your phone, place it on your belly so it's easily available when the timer goes off, and then join again. Or you can stay here in this shorter Shavasana. For most of us, lying on a flat floor for a period of time is not comfortable, so support is needed. So it can just be nice to step your feet wide and have your knees support each other. That's what I like to do if I don't have props with me. Excuse me, with all the coughing. Place your hands wherever they are comfortable. And come back to connecting with your breath, with your natural cycle of breath. Still your yoga practice. You're still in this moment with your breath, your inhale and your exhale. Next inhale, deepen your breath. Exhale, sigh it out. Excuse me. Start to move your fingers and your toes, your hands, your feet, your wrists, your ankles. You can stretch, you can hug your knees in. Move your head side to side, or if there's something else you'd like to do, a yawn is always good. And make your way over to one side. The strength of your hands and arms, press yourself up to seated, bringing your head up last. Finding a seat for a moment, so sitting on the edge of your towel or blanket. Can be cross-legged, have your legs out long, your knees slightly bent with your feet on your mat or floor. Wherever you're comfortable. I want you to sit tall, sit well. So if you're not sitting on anything, you might notice that you're kind of rounded. So you want that help. Allow your support to help you with that. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Bring your hands together at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Keep peace in your mind, keep strength in your body, and keep love in your heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you have any questions, you can email me at therealgofitgirl@gmail.com. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter at GoFitGirl, Instagram as The Real Go Fit Girl, or you can comment below. I'm always open for suggestions or requests, so please let me know what you'd like to see. I hope you have a lovely day and that we practice together again soon. Bye.